Hey y'all, I'm back again with yet another Pokemon Challenge video. Pokemon Red with only one Lickitung was a really fun and easy run, so this time I decided to try a Pokemon I thought would be much tougher. I wanted to see if I could beat Pokemon Red using only one Jigglypuff. As usual, the rules are I can only use one Jigglypuff in battle, and no items in battle, also no glitches or exploits. By the way, if you like this kind of content and want to see more, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out more videos. Unlike with Lickitung, Jigglypuff has pretty terrible stats. The HP stat is incredible, but the rest of the stats are actually the worst. Like Lickitung though, Jigglypuff has an incredible move pool, although I'm not sure it will matter with stats these awful. The beginning of this run especially is going to be a real challenge, because for some reason, Game Freak decided not to give Jigglypuff a damage dealing move until level 9. Off at Professor Oak's lab, I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Charmander with Jigglypuff, so that our rival will pick Squirtle. The coverage moves are really great against all three starters, but overall Blastoise is the bulkiest and therefore I believe the most challenging. I nicknamed my Jigglypuff Huff Enough, because I'm praying it'll be tough enough to make it through this challenge. During the last run, I mentioned that I wanted to cut out the first two rival fights, since they're usually not all that interesting. But this time the first rival fight with Jigglypuff was actually crazy. Our only move is Sing, so I'm expecting to get knocked out and lose the battle, but somehow we actually managed to survive long enough to lose all of our PP and knock out Squirtle with Struggle. I didn't realize it at the time, but this turns out to be very valuable experience for Jigglypuff. I need to get Jigglypuff to level 9 ASAP so we can learn Pound and actually deal regular damage. The best way to do this is go into Viridian Forest and battle Kakuna and Metapod. They only use Harden, so it's easy to waste all of Sing's PP and then use Struggle to knock them out. I make sure to only battle Kakuna and Metapod because of the recoil damage from Struggle. For some reason, early on in this game, you can't buy potions at the mart. So once I've used the only two potions available at this point, the only way to heal is to go to the Pokemon Center, which of course restores Jigglypuff's PP. This was easily the longest training arc of any anime or any run-through of any game, and I seriously do not recommend trying this one at home. I tried to fight Brock at level 9, and as you can imagine, it wasn't even close. Jigglypuff has awful defense and awful attack, so we take tons of damage while Pound barely does anything in return. It's pretty clear we have to level up, but thankfully this is much faster and easier with Pound. I tried this battle over and over again at each level with no success, until Jigglypuff hit level 19 and learned Defense Curl. Defense Curl makes it so that Jigglypuff can actually take hits before getting knocked out. But even with Defense Curl, it's very much up to Brock whether or not he wants to let you have the Gym Badge, much like with Ash in the anime. Onix using Screech and Tackle is essentially an immediate loss. But eventually, and I say eventually because this took many tries, I get a battle where Jigglypuff is able to clutch out a win. Although, as you can see, we had to dodge bide using Disable and Defense Curl, and Sing isn't all that helpful considering its accuracy is only 55%. Obviously, the easy solution would be to go grind out Jigglypuff until it's a much higher level, and then come back when this battle is much easier, but like always, I'm trying to do this challenge at the minimum level possible. So I know it's not possible without Defense Curl, but I don't want to level any higher, because level 19 is already much higher than I typically like to be at this point during the game. Thankfully though, we'll have access to some much better moves right after we beat Brock. In Mount Moon, I pick up the TMs for Water Gun and Mega Punch respectively. Water Gun helps take care of rock types that otherwise wall Jigglypuff, and Mega Punch is a strictly better version of Pound. With Mega Punch, most trainers now are a breeze. Since we're already at the same level as Misty's Pokemon, I decided to go straight to the Cerulean City Gym rather than take on the rival first like I usually do. Jigglypuff has pretty awful special, and Misty's water type moves can do major damage, so I'm a little bit worried. But I don't want to wait any longer because Jigglypuff's already at such a high level from having to beat Brock, and I don't want this battle to be trivial, I want it to be challenging. Mega Punch is great, but I did forget to mention that its one downside is that it's only 80% accurate. We do take 2 critical hit water guns from Staryu, but thankfully, Starmie decides not to go for Bubble Beam, and even though we miss Mega Punches, we're able to clutch out a win against Misty. After that, I go to take on the rival at Nugget Bridge. Misty gave us the TM for Bubble Beam, which is a better version of Water Gun, so I teach it to Jigglypuff and try to take out the Pidgeotto before it can hit us with Sand Attack. It takes several attempts before I can land a Sing on Pidgeotto before it hits it with Sand Attack, but luckily Mega Punch makes quick work of it. You'll notice I'm using Defense Curls, and this is to set up the Badge Boost glitch. For those who haven't seen these videos before, every time your stats are modified in this game, the stat boosts you get from gym badges are accidentally reapplied, so Defense Curl raises our attack. Speaking of attack, on the SSN we get a great one. TM8 Body Slam is a strictly better version of Mega Punch. It's the same base power, and has a chance to paralyze, plus it's 100% accurate. There are stronger moves like Takedown and Double Edge that Jigglypuff can learn, but those deal recoil, and Jigglypuff just really can't take all that much damage without getting knocked out. On top of that, the paralysis from Body Slam helps to offset Jigglypuff's terrible speed, and you can see for yourself just how good the move is. Lieutenant Surge is yet another gym leader who, like Misty, could easily knock us out, but just chooses not to. Thundershock and especially Thunderbolt do massive damage, and since Jigglypuff is so slow, we're guaranteed to take at least 3 hits. More than enough to pop the Puff. Lieutenant Surge decides instead to just do nothing, and we easily knock him out to win the battle. By the time we get to Lavender Town and the rival fight with Bubs in Pokemon Tower, Jigglypuff has almost 10 levels on most of his Pokemon. Body Slam makes quick work of everyone, although I do decide to play it safe and put the Execute to sleep with Sing. Defense Curl is used to boost our defense, but also mostly our attack, high enough to OHKO the Wartortle. Although it does hang on from Body Slam, and then does nothing. We're at such a high level by the time we reach Celadon City that I decide to head straight to Erica. I am worried about Victory Bell going for Sleep Powder and Wrap, because our speed is so terrible, but instead it just misses a Poison Powder and Body Slam picks up a Paralysis, and then Jigglypuff outspeeds and takes it out. Tangela goes down in 2 hits because it's a ball of spaghetti, and Vileplume does a lot of damage, but not quite enough to take us out before Body Slam wins us another gym badge. Up next is Giovanni in the Rocket Game Corner, and as you can see, between Bubble Beam and Body Slam, the Puff is simply too tough. Well, on to the next thing, I guess. Remember all those first try gym battle victories I was so excited about? Yeah, well that train left the station real quick. The battle with Koga is an unmitigated disaster. I have to try this one over and over again. But like with Voltorb, there's really only one strategy here. Jigglypuff has to get to the last Pokemon wheezing with enough health and defense to take a self-destruct. I got the TM for Psychic from Saffron City, which helps with his Poison-type Pokemon, but as you can see, the wheezing comes out, uses self-destruct, and thankfully we're able to survive to pick up the gym badge. Now at the Sylph Company, taking on the rival Bubs once again. This time his Pokemon are mostly fully evolved, and on top of that, his Alakazam likes to land critical hits with Psybeam to OHKO Jigglypuff. Like with Koga, I have to try this one several times before I get a run where Alakazam goes for Recover at full health rather than actually attacking. You know, for a Pokemon with apparently 5,000 IQ, it's not exactly a big brain play. The Defense Curl Badge Boost glitch for our attack make Body Slam do lots of damage to all of his Pokemon, but we do level up in the middle of the battle, and Execute, being a bulky Pokemon, is a bit of a pain. Alakazam's the only real threat, and even though Blastoise is level 40, it still knows Bubble for some reason, so really it's just a matter of having enough PP with Body Slam to take it out. After the rival, it's off to beat down Giovanni once again. His Pokemon may be different, but the outcome is essentially the same. Jigglypuff alternates between Body Slam and Psychic to take out his lower leveled Pokemon, and now that I think about it, I've always found it weird that the rival fight comes first when he's clearly the tougher battle. I don't get it, but Game Freak probably wasn't really thinking all that much about it, so I shouldn't either. Now it's time for the boss rush portion of the video, and as usual, I battle Blaine before taking on Sabrina. I do this in order to get the badge boost for our special stat, which you get from the badge from Blaine. This is an easy enough battle considering his AI is so terrible that he wastes time either healing at full health or going for moves that do nothing like Roar. Arcanine's Fire Blast does huge damage, but we Body Slam it for the victory before Jigglypuff gets knocked out. Sabrina's gym battle is a very interesting situation. Jigglypuff is easily able to OHKO her first 3 Pokemon with Body Slam, but like before, Alakazam can outspeed us and one-hit KO with a critical hit Psybeam or Psychic. Thankfully though, Sabrina attacks at random, so the chance of that happening is about 10%. Well, we use Body Slam to knock out her first 3 Pokemon, and then it's time for Alakazam to come out. Thankfully, the die roll is in our favor, it uses Psy Wave, and we knock it out with Body Slam. Now it's time for the final battle with Giovanni for our final gym badge. Like all the other times, this battle is essentially a formality. Rhyhorn loves to waste time going for Horn Drill, which will never hit because Jigglypuff is faster. Thus, we're able to grab as many defense curls as we need to withstand the physical attacks from the rest of his Pokemon. Dugtrio does often crit, but it's okay, because Psychic does really good damage to all of his Pokemon who have low special. All that's left now is to knock out his Rhydon and win ourselves the last gym badge, and... oh. Well, let's try that again. Okay, this time Rhydon doesn't hit Fisher, and we're able to knock it out to... oh. Yeah, not Fisher. Horn Drill this time. Alright, one more time. We get to the Rhydon, and we're able to knock it out with a Psychic to win our very final gym badge. Stop trying to make Horn Drill a thing, Giovanni. It's not a thing. Well, before heading to the Elite Four, we have one more fight with our rival Bubs. Unfortunately, Jigglypuff is no longer at a higher level than his Pokemon, which makes this battle extremely difficult. We need to somehow make it to the Alakazam with close to full health in order to survive, but by the time we get past his other Pokemon, we often have very little HP. That's because Jigglypuff needs to set up defense curls against the Pidgeot because it immediately starts attacking and doing big damage. Execute goes for a Solar Beam, which leaves us with only 12 HP. Alakazam comes out and... oh, we just crit it to knock it out. Okay, well all it has to do is hit us with one move and it goes for Withdraw instead and then actually misses a bite, which is fortunate, and keeps going. Why will this thing just not attack us? Well, anyways, we put it to sleep, it wakes up, and then it decides to go for a Skull Bash as we put it to sleep again with a Sing. And I don't know what's happening, but somehow we've managed to win this one. That was awfully close, and if that's any indication as to how the Elite Four is going to go, I'm worried. Well, here are our stats and moves before going into the Elite Four, and now's a good time as any to mention that something has plagued Jigglypuff throughout this entire run. For tough battles, Jigglypuff has to rely on the Badge Boost glitch from Defense Curl to boost its otherwise horrible stats. I mean, without that, I'd be forced to level it up to super high levels, and that just kind of goes against the spirit of the challenge. The problem with Jigglypuff is that it's a part of the fast level up group, meaning that it's almost impossible to get through a trainer with multiple Pokemon without leveling up. And if you remember, leveling up in the middle of a battle removes any and all badge boosts that we got, including the ones we're supposed to get. To try to avoid this issue, I use a rare candy before each Elite Four battle to reset the experience required to level up. Even with this strategy, Jigglypuff often levels up during each Elite Four battle, and then immediately gets knocked out by the next Pokemon because our stats are just that bad. This problem is the most apparent with Lorelei. Since we're at a lower level already, it takes less experience for Jigglypuff to level up. On top of that, we hardly do any damage to our Pokemon, and Dugong and Cloyster often take us out before we even get going. I try this at several levels, but every time I level up right before getting to the Jinx, which then outspeeds us and knocks us out in one hit. So we need to level up, and ironically the best way to do this is by battling Lorelei. I knock out her Dugong and Cloyster and occasionally Slowbro enough times for Jigglypuff to hit level 59, and then I use a rare candy so that Jigglypuff hits level 60. This is the minimum level required to allow Jigglypuff to level up after knocking out the Jinx. Even with this strategy, however, the Lapras turns into a bit of a lottery, where you pray Jigglypuff is able to knock it out before it lands a devastating blow with either Hydro Pump or Blizzard. Who would have thought that Lorelei would be such a nightmare? It's not usually the case, but for whatever reason, Jigglypuff just doesn't match up very well. After Lorelei, of course, is the Elite Four member Bruno, who is a breath of fresh air by comparison. His Pokemon aren't all that strong, although he does have high jump kick on Hitmonlee and submission on Machamp, which will do big damage to the normal type Jigglypuff. He always leads with Onix, which can't really do anything worth noting, so it's a perfect opportunity to snag 6 defense curls and boost not only our defense, but of course our other stats through the Badge Boost glitch. The speed boosts we get from this make Jigglypuff faster than the Hitmonchan and the Hitmonlee, and we're able to knock them both out with a single Psychic. However, our attack doesn't knock out the Machamp in one hit, and so the defense curls are actually necessary to survive submission. Also very fortunate, we don't have to use a rare candy before the battle because Jigglypuff doesn't level up to level 62 until right after knocking out his last Pokemon, Machamp. However, we do use a rare candy right before Agatha because she is a whole different story. Even with badge boosts, Psychic doesn't do very much damage to her ghost Pokemon who have high special. On top of that, we often can't get enough defense curls in to be faster than the Golbat before it switches in and uses Haze to remove all of our boosts. The worst part about losing to Agatha, of course, is that I have to reset the game and go through the trouble of beating Lorelei once again, because I'm trying to do this at the minimum level possible, and so I don't want to carry over experience from earlier battles. After many tries, I managed to get an attempt where I can knock out the Golbat before it gets the chance to use Haze. After that, Jigglypuff battles through a gauntlet of paralysis and confusion and sleep. Luckily though, Agatha's AI is strange and she likes to randomly switch her Pokemon in and out, which gives Jigglypuff free opportunities to do damage with Psychic. Her last Gengar is a real challenge, but in the end, we're able to take it out with a critical hit Thunderbolt and head on to take Lance. My advice for anyone wishing to try this at home is to just save before Agatha, and if you lose, try it again, because it is not worth the aggravation of having to go through the entire Elite Four just to get put to sleep and nightshaded into oblivion. Seriously, what a pain, am I right? Agatha, more like Nagatha. While that was probably the worst joke I've ever come up with, you gotta cut me some slack, because I've been through serious mental trauma trying to get to this point of the run. Lance himself isn't too bad. As long as his Gyarados doesn't go for Hyper Beam turn 1, Jigglypuff is able to do double super effective damage with Thunderbolt, and it always one-hit KOs the Gyarados. Best case scenario, Dragonair goes for an Agility, but if it does go for a Hyper Beam, it's actually okay, because at that point, you just get free turns during recharge to use more defense curls. However, it is absolutely critical that Jigglypuff is able to get up enough defense curls to boost its speed faster than Aerodactyl. Otherwise, Aerodactyl will come out and likely hit a critical hit Hyper Beam to one-hit KO Jigglypuff. After Aerodactyl, Dragonite is no issue at all, and Body Slam is easily able to pick up the win. So it's nice that Lance is really consistent, because between Agatha and Lorelei, I don't know if I'd have the patience to even finish this otherwise. Well, now it's time for the champion battle against Bubs, and just like with Lance in the Aerodactyl, this battle is all about outspeeding and beating the Alakazam so that it doesn't land a critical hit and one-hit KO Jigglypuff with Psychic. Just like the battles with Agatha and Gyarados, Pidgeot, his lead Pokemon, is a little dangerous to set up against. Pidgeot now has Sky Attack, which not only is the strongest flying type move in the game, but it also has a high critical hit ratio, which will knock out Jigglypuff, completely ignoring our defense boosts. The ideal situation is that it goes for Mirror Move, mimicking our defense curls, and since our special is boosted high enough, with the badge boost glitch, Thunderbolt is a one-hit KO on Pidgeot. After Pidgeot, Bubs will either send out Rhydon or Alakazam. It would be nice to set up on the Rhydon, but it's naturally faster than Jigglypuff and it has the one-hit KO move Horn Drill. Thankfully though, he sends out Alakazam, and Body Slam makes quick work of it. Since we're now faster than Rhydon, Horn Drill can't connect, and we can knock it out with 2 Psychics. Exeggutor goes down without landing a Hypnosis, and Arcanine's not much trouble either. After that, all that's left is the Blastoise. Oh, we leveled up right before the Blastoise. This is a lot like that last rival battle we had, where we somehow managed to pull out a victory with very little health left. Well, anyways, Blastoise wastes time by going for Withdrawal, Blizzard does do decent damage, and a Hydro Pump connects to knock out Jigglypuff. Well, after many more tries, I finally managed to get back to the champion Bubs. And this battle goes basically the same as last time. Jigglypuff is able to set up defense curls against the Pidgeot, and then proceeds to plow through Bubs' team. Rhydon's no issue, just like before. In fact, it uses Leer, which gives us more badge boost. Arcanine, once again, not a big deal. Psychic makes quick work of it. Exeggutor, thankfully, doesn't really do anything. And of course, we level up right before the Blastoise. And this time, Thunderbolt actually crits to almost knock it out. And we're able to follow up with yet another Thunderbolt to beat the champion and finally win the run. This one was an absolute doozy. And I even venture to say that certain parts of this challenge were more difficult than in the Voltorb run. Jigglypuff had almost the entire TM library of moves to choose from, but even so his stats were so awful that it didn't really help. Well, in the end, we managed to beat it, one level higher than the perfect level, but we proved that Jigglypuff is in fact Puff enough. Since Jigglypuff's lullaby wasn't enough to lull you to sleep, I want to thank you for making it to the end of this video. These videos are a ton of fun, but also a lot of work, so I really do appreciate it. There's a playlist on my channel where you can find the rest of my Pokemon Challenge videos if you want to check those out. And as always, if you like the run, be sure to subscribe and enable notifications so you'll know right away the next time one of these episodes is uploaded. I'm already working on the next video where I try to beat Pokemon Red using only one Farfetch'd. Let me know in the comments what other Pokemon you want to see, and until next time,